Yo guys, so welcome to the new channel, CFB, which stands for Carefree Blues, which will be Chelsea related content, Chelsea Football Club related content. So we've got a big video to discuss here today. Very big video actually. On what's going wrong at Chelsea Football Club right now. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. So what is going wrong at Chelsea Football Club right now? Because I mean, it seemed like only 2 years ago we won the Champions League. By the way, what a great video to start on. We've got a lot to talk about in this video. Like I said, we only won the Champions League 2 years ago. So I mean, like 6 months ago, we still had Thomas Tuchel in charge. I loved Thomas Tuchel, personally. If you know me, you know I loved Thomas Tuchel. I think he was amazing. I think it was the wrong decision to sack him, but is this on Potter or is this on the players? Or is it on the new owners? Now, this is where we start getting into the details. All right, so start off with point number one. I've brought a little list here because we're going into very detail. So manager and the players. So this is where I point the blame at the players personally. I do not point the blame on the manager at all. The majority of this situation, what's wrong with Chelsea, I do not put on Potter at all, really. Couple things like, you know, maybe he talks sometimes in a press conference and says the wrong stuff. Maybe yes, but he says the same thing the other last 5 managers have been saying, but just in a different way. Do you know what I mean? He said the exact same things that Tuchel said, but just in a different way. Yeah, it doesn't apply for Tuchel. You know, you get praise for Tuchel, you don't get praise for Potter. I don't get it really, personally. So let's start off with the players then. So clearly there's a mentality issue at Chelsea Football Club. It's been going on since Conte. Look, we won the league in 16-17. We had a DM. Where's our DM now? We haven't had a DM since 16-17. We let go of Matic literally the year we won the league. Ever since then, we haven't had a DM. And there's literally been nothing. We've got no creative players in the team. Again, we had Cesc Fabregas in 16-17. After that, unfortunately, he got a bit old. It happens. We haven't got a creative player in our side. You know, since Conte, we had Conte. He said there's mentality issue. Sarri, after, said there's a mentality issue. Lampard, mentality issue. Tuchel, mentality issue. And then clearly under Potter, there's still a mentality issue. If we're seeing the same results for the last 5 managers, the same things over the last 5 managers, do you not think maybe it just does come down to the players? Because if we just keep sacking off the manager each time, it's just going to... And we keep saying the same things, then it's clearly not the manager. That's why I think we should put our full faith into Potter, personally. I think he's proved it at Brighton. Yes, people are going to bring back the comparisons. Oh, you're comparing Brighton to Chelsea. No, I'm not comparing Brighton to Chelsea. What I am saying is, when Potter took over Brighton, they were 17th. They were 17th. In 3 years, he's got their recruitment brilliantly correct. Look at McAllister, Cucurella, Caicedo, whatever you say his name. There's loads more players. I mean, Lewis Dunk was sick under Potter as well. I rate Lewis Dunk now. He's got this recruitment from bringing unknown players, making them brilliant players. He got that, like I said, he got that team from 17th in the league to a team that's now top 6, beating top 14 sometimes pretty easily. I mean, look, they smashed us 4-1. They smashed us 4-1. They played us off the park. Yes, Potter wasn't in charge in that game, but that's still his team. That ain't Deserby's team, whatever you say his name. I mean, Potter, in all fairness, he's not had a window. He's had he's been at the club 3 months. He's had a hectic schedule. He's coming in a hectic schedule. He's had a Reece James injury to deal with. He's had a Kante injury to deal with. He's had... By the way, we're going to get into injuries soon. He's had all these injuries and all this hectic schedule. Yes, we expect some results in some places. The team isn't as bad as it is right now. It's not as bad as it is right now. But this is where I get onto the players. These players are some of Conte's players. These players are some of Sarri's players. These players are some of Lampard's players. These are some of the players are Tuchel's players. Actually, no, I don't think Tuchel had any of his signings, to be fair. And some of the players that are still here are dating back 2013, 2014. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I think it was a bad idea to put Aspie on a contract. I mean, look, he's now our backup right back. He tries his hardest, I understand that. He tries his hardest, but he's not good enough. He's just not good enough anymore. He's too old, 32 or 33 now, I think he is. I mean, it's just, there's so many old players, injury-prone players. It's a bit of a mess. The old regime, like, they were brilliant until about 2013, 2014. They stopped spending cleverly. I mean, they would just chuck out the best players every single time. They'd keep the players that don't want to be here. I mean, you look, Pulisic, Ziyech. Oh, God. Stinking up the gaff. Stinking it up. It's awful. Pulisic didn't even want to be here in the summer. We kept him. Do you know what I mean? We've got players here that don't want to be here as well. Majority of these players as well, they all play different styles of football. Do you know what I mean? Some of them don't. I'm being honest here. 80% of these players, 90% of these players play different styles of football. They all don't play the same. That's why you can't get them into a proper team. Yes, in a cup competition, you can get them to play. Because cup football is different than league football. But they're just, all of them just play a different style. That's it. That's the problem as well. It's awful. It's been awful recruitment. I mean, you look at some of our defenders, they can't play in a 5-back. Some can't play in a 4-back. Ziyech can't play in a 5-back. He can only play in a 4. It's just all a bit of a mess, you know. Havertz, what is his position? I'm being honest. Sometimes he plays well up front. Like the most recent game, Bournemouth. Played well. We played him there against Nottingham Forest. He did nothing. Didn't really do anything. Made a couple link-up plays in the middle. Wow. You know what? I'm going to take a quote from Thomas Tuchel's book here. We have the same problems. It's because we have the same players. It's true. It's very true. We can't get a style of football with these players like I've already just mentioned. We need to, in my opinion, I've been saying this even before Tuchel. It needs to be a rebuild. We need a rebuild. It's getting too much now. We need to get out all the old players and the players that Potter doesn't want. We need to fully back Potter. Get out them players. Bring in the players Potter wants. Younger players as well. I mean, look, we've already got Dacha Fofana, Andre Santos coming in. We could be having Enzo Fernandez coming in. That could be a new video coming soon as well, if that gets done. You know, Mount, Reece James. We need to keep it young, or at least 27, 28. Do you know what I mean? You know, now we get onto the midfield. Now we talk about the midfield. We haven't had a new midfielder come in since 2018, which was Kovacic on loan, and we brought him for 40 million. That was the last player we had come in. Yes, we've had loans here and there. Loans. And again, they were bad recruitment. I mean, look at Saul. He didn't clearly bad recruitment. He wasn't great. We've had Zakaria come in on loan this year. I personally like Zakaria. I think if he carries on like this, at the end of the season, we should terminate his the loan buy thing. It's not coming to my head. For 24.5 million, I think that'll be a bargain. You know, to back up Rice or be competition for Rice. So that's brilliant, I think, in my opinion. But 2018 was the last time we brought in a midfielder. Like, it's just not good enough. 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22. That's 4 years, nearly 5. It's pitiful. It's pitiful. I mean, you've got Jorginho, 31 years old, in the midfield. He's not a DM. People go, oh, if you don't rate Jorginho, you don't know football. Let's be real here. I understand what he does. He plays deep. He picks out passes. He passes sideways. That's all he does, sideways, backwards. 1 in about 55,000 passes he gets forward. I'm not joking. It's frustrating because also he's meant to be the DM sometimes. He's too weak. He's too slow. I've seen him get outpaced by a referee. Outpaced by a referee, and I'm not joking. He's too weak. He's too slow. He doesn't win his ground duels. I see these stats. The only ground duels he wins is when a player slips over and he just takes the ball real quick. That's literally the only ones he wins. So next we got N'Golo Kante, 32 years old or 31. I love him. I think when he's on his day, he's brilliant. I really do. Injury prone. He's giving us now in between 12 to 16 games a season in the Premier League now. That's not good enough. That's not good enough anymore. We need a player that's going to be there for at least 30 to 35. Do you know what I mean? A main starter. You know, even Kante, before he started getting his injuries, he started to get a bit sloppy. It just comes down to age, and I love him, but he's run his feet so far into the ground now. It's unfortunate. I don't think we should be giving him a contract. I think we should bring in Caicedo from Brighton instead of him. Again, this is Brighton FC. I just think he would be a great replacement for Kante. I think they're similar type of profiles, except from I think Caicedo has a better passing range, better through ball, better end product than Kante. But yeah, so we have a weak, slow midfielder. Then we have an injury-prone, just passes best, unfortunately, now midfielder. Ruben Loftus-Cheek, again, injury-prone, not Chelsea standard, Fulham standard. I mean, Fulham are better than us right now. Crystal Palace standard then. Mount has been poor for the past year now. But I do still have trust in Mount. I'll be honest. I still think there's a good player in there. He shows it on occasions. Cover's our best midfielder by a mile. And he's in his prime, I think now, 27, 28. But again, a bit injury prone. You can see where I'm going with injuries, can't you? Always, our best player's always injured. I don't understand. I think last year we had the most injuries in Europe, which is balmy. It comes down to the medical department, which I wonder why Bowley sacked him off. He needs to bring a new one in though soon. But yeah, Cover's our best midfielder. But the only thing, he puts in a good through ball every so often. Like 1 in about 20, 1 in about 10 gets successful, which I don't think is good enough. But he's good at beating the press. His dribbling is really good. Sometimes he can finish. I mean, look at Liverpool, for example. But like I said, again, he's very injury prone. And he's not creative. We need one thing Chelsea needs to do, and this is one thing I've been expressing for ages. Buy a DM. Buy a creative midfielder. Get rid of Jorginho. Pulisic. I'm sick and tired of this Pulisic thing. He's not good. Pulisic. Ziyech. Again, shrugs his shot. I don't care what he did for Morocco. You know, fair enough, he had a good tournament with Morocco, and Morocco did sick, fair play to him. I enjoyed watching him. Amrabat was brilliant. He could be another one if we don't get Zakaria. But what he does for Chelsea, he shrugs his shoulders. He doesn't care. There's nothing in it. He's been a real flop. I was really excited for Ziyech as well. Yeah, just get rid of those players. Get rid of the older players as well, and the injury-prone players. And bring in just better qualities, players that Potter wants. You know, I'm really excited to see how this Datro Fofana and Andre Santos play, because nobody heard of them until they were signed. Don't get me wrong. I've only seen YouTube clips of them and they look brilliant. But them underrated, unknown players, the gems, the young ones, usually tend to be the ones who come into a team with more hunger and usually actually do really well, especially at Chelsea. it's usually the more bigger names and the higher prices and the more known names that don't do that well. I mean, look at Lukaku, for example. So yeah, I just think we should fully back Potter. Get rid of whoever Potter doesn't want. Keep who Potter wants and bring in who Potter wants. It's got to happen. We've got to do it under a manager. We've got to go through this process. I mean, look at Arsenal, for example. I don't want to compare to Arsenal because I fucking hate Arsenal. I hate Arsenal. And I hate Arteta. I don't think he's a good manager at all, really. I'll be honest. Be dead honest. But he's clearly picked up a few things from Guardiola. He has. And it's working out. Look, it looked like turmoil for Arsenal in those first 3 seasons. 8th and 5th, I think it was. He turfed out all the players that were injury prone. He didn't like, they didn't get on. Aubameyang, who was useless for us. Useless. And they brought in and done the right recruitment that Arteta wants. And look what they're doing now. Fair play to him. I've got to give props. Fair play. Just do that under Potter. You know what I mean? You could argue Potter has better recruitment and a better eye for talent than Arteta as well. I don't think that's debatable. I mean, I don't think it's debatable whatsoever, really. But it's just... yeah, we need to go through this process, and us Chelsea fans aren't usually used to the process because we were just sacking off managers and bringing in players and not letting go of some of the players that needed to go. And look what has happened now. It's turned into a complete state. It's turned into a complete state, honestly. Like I said, there's a mentality issue at Chelsea. They need to get their grip up, honestly. It's getting annoying now. You know, we could beat Man City in 2 days' time. 3-0, and we could go into the next game. I don't know. I know this isn't our next game anyway, but we could go into our next game against Nottingham Forest and lose 2-0 and play crap. Do you know what I mean? This team can't constantly play crap under every single manager. And then we always say it's the manager's fault. I'm sorry, it can't be. Thomas Tuchel, for example, loved him. As soon as it came to this season, you know, people are saying Potter's played awful football, some of the worst football. Do you guys remember Leeds? 3-0 we lost to Leeds. That was the worst game I've ever watched. Southampton, we lost 2-1 to Southampton. Awful game. Zagreb, awful. Woeful. It's awful. Also, under Potter, we had a good run, good 9 games. I mean, we beat AC Milan twice. One of my favourite games this year was AC Milan at home, 4-0, where we packed them in. Yeah, we beat him convincingly away as well. Under Potter, Reece James gets injured. Team just capitulates from then on. Mentality issue. It seems like Reece James has a grip on his team like Eden Hazard did. If we didn't have Eden Hazard in some of those games when he wasn't even playing, the team would capitulate. It's the same with Reece James. I wonder what it is. Do you know what I'll tell you what it is? Mentality. Comes down to mentality. Also, the players don't suit the style of play. You're telling me you reckon these players... You go back and watch how Potter played before as a Spider-Man. You guys go back and watch how Potter played at Brighton. Even how we played, how we played at Brighton, the football he played at Brighton. And you look at these players we've got, you reckon they can play that football here? Come on. Be honest. No. We can't. So this is what we need to do. Sack off them players, bring in Potter's players. It's clear and obvious. And if it doesn't work under Potter, I say give him 3 years. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. At least we will have a similar group of players who play a similar style of football by then. And hopefully we'll have a better mentality. And then we could bring in a better manager who suits that style of play. But yeah, also people saying that they can't see a style of play Potter's trying to play. You look back on the 2 AC Milan games, for example, and some of the games leading up to that AC Milan game, we were playing some decent football, but just not great, but decent. You know, you could see what we were trying to do, the quick play, attacking football. You can see it. But yeah, it's down to these players mainly. Some criticism on Potter, obviously, like, you know, maybe do more on the sidelines, bring your subs on a little bit more earlier. And that's about it. I'm pointing the blame on the players personally. Like, just do something. Do something. Honestly, we can still get top 4. Don't give up yet. I mean, this is awful. But yeah, that's it for today's video. It's a bit everywhere. I've had to rush this video. If there's still problems at Chelsea towards the end of the season, like the last 5 games, I'll give you another similar video to this, maybe an update. If there's still problems like this towards the end of the season. But yeah, I will be uploading quite regularly on this channel. Previews, reviews, transfer news, Chelsea news in general will be coming onto this channel. So yeah, hit the like button and subscribe. If you're not a Chelsea fan, you just want to join, feel free. But yeah, like and subscribe. Comment down below if you agree or not. And yeah, I'll speak to you guys later.